Things are not looking good in Baltimore, and honestly, it's starting to feel like more than just a rough stretch. It feels like a full-blown unraveling. The Ravens, once seen as Super Bowl contenders, now sit at 1 win and 4 losses, looking completely unrecognizable from the team that had fans buzzing just a few short weeks ago. And when you look at how they're losing games, not just the losses themselves, it's hard not to wonder if we're witnessing the beginning of the end of an era in Baltimore. Let's start with the vibes, because they're off. Way off. You watch these players on the sideline, and you don't see that familiar Ravens fire. You don't see fight. You see slumped shoulders, blank stares, frustration. It's not even about being outplayed anymore. It's about being outclassed. Detroit ran them over. Houston, yes, the Houston Texans, did the same. And when your head coach, a guy like John Harbaugh, starts hinting at major personnel changes, especially on the offensive line, you know the situation is getting critical. In his most recent presser, Harbaugh said something that stuck out. He said, "If we were hoping you could make more progress as a player and it isn't happening, at some point, someone else is going to get a chance." That's not coach speak. That's a shot across the bow. That's a man who knows things are spiraling and that his time might be running out if he doesn't get this thing turned around fast. The offensive line, which was already under scrutiny, has become an outright liability. No push up front. No second-level movement. Guys getting blown off the ball. The Texans' defensive line was bullying them all day, and without Ronnie Stanley on the field, it was clear as day. This unit can't hold up. And the numbers back it up. The best running back in football, and this offensive line can't get him an inch of daylight. That's inexcusable. Names are being thrown around. Could Ben Cleveland be the answer? What about trying to make a move for a veteran guard? Maybe even bringing back someone like Kevin Zeitler. The problem isn't that the Ravens don't have options. It's that the options they do have haven't proven themselves, and that includes some of the guys starting right now. Harbaugh's message was clear: you've got to keep earning your spot. And right now, a lot of players are skating by on reputation rather than performance. But it's not just the offensive line. The injuries are piling up at an insane rate. Your quarterback is out. Your top defensive lineman? Done for the year. Your Pro Bowl middle linebacker? Out. Your All-Pro safety? Gone too. And when you start doing the math, it's not hard to see why the team looks lost. Calves, hamstrings, groins, all the kind of soft tissue injuries that don't heal quickly and can linger all year. You can't plan for that kind of attrition, but you can try to fight through it. And that's the part that's really disappointing. It's not just that the Ravens are hurt. It's that they're not even showing signs of fight. When Houston came into town, they weren't just more physical. They were more inspired, more confident, more connected. And you could feel it. Look at the TV broadcast. Every sideline shot either showed a Raven in street clothes or a player who looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. No energy. No unity. No urgency. And if you're a fan, that's what stings the most. Because Baltimore has always prided itself on effort and toughness, win or lose. And the numbers? They don't lie. The Texans were one of the worst third down and red zone offenses in the entire league heading into this matchup. And what did they do against the Ravens? They went seat to doze on third down and cuatro de cinco in the red zone. Those are elite numbers. The Ravens' defense, usually the backbone of this franchise, looked soft, confused, and worst of all, defeated. And that falls on coaching. Zach Orr is starting to get real heat, and honestly, it's deserved. This defense isn't just giving up points. They're giving up confidence. They look disorganized. They look slow. They look passive. We've seen this script before. A soft zone defense that gives up everything underneath and prays the red zone defense holds up. But it's not holding up. The tackling has been horrific. Missed tackles left and right. There's just no bite in this unit. And at some point, someone's going to have to answer for that. Now look, nobody's saying the sky is falling yet. There's still time to right the ship. But that window is closing and closing fast. And with each passing week, you feel the urgency ratcheting up. This was supposed to be the year. This roster was built to compete now. You don't stack talent like this and hope for next year. But between the injuries, the inconsistent play, and the lack of identity, it's looking more and more like this might not be the Ravens' year after all. And if that's the case, then the front office is going to have to start making some very uncomfortable decisions, and not just about players. John Harbaugh has been one of the most respected coaches in the NFL for a long time. But when you've had Lamar Jackson for this long and don't even have a Super Bowl appearance to show for it, the patience starts to run thin. This isn't year one of the rebuild. This is year dois of Lamar's massive contract. The expectations are sky high. And so far, this team is falling flat on its face. What's wild is how fast the perception has flipped. A few weeks ago, this team was being talked about as a dark horse Super Bowl contender. Now, they're the punchline. They're the team everyone else wants to play when they're slumping. Need a get-right game? Schedule the Ravens. That's how bad it's gotten. And that's what's so frustrating, because the talent is there. The roster is still strong, even with the injuries. But the execution, the effort, the fire, it's all missing. And honestly, maybe it is the end of an era. Look at the core of this team. A lot of these guys are pushing 30. Some have contracts coming up. There's going to be a lot of tough decisions in the offseason. Mark Andrews, for example, is in the final year of his deal. He's still productive, but are you really going to pay big money to a tight end nearing 30 when you've got Isaiah likely waiting in the wings? You can't pay everyone. Not in this league. And then there's the coaching staff. If this slide continues, it's hard to imagine John Harbaugh doesn't feel some real heat. Not during the season. The Ravens don't move like that, but in the offseason, it's possible. Steve Bisciotti is loyal, but he's not blind. This franchise has standards, and what's happening right now doesn't meet them. When you really step back and look at it, the bigger question for the Ravens right now isn't just about how to survive this season. It's about what comes next. You can feel it in the air, the whispers about whether the window for this team has quietly started to close. For years, Baltimore was built on stability, culture, and a sense of identity. But that foundation feels shaky now. The energy that once defined them is gone, and the results speak louder than any press conference can. The talk around the league is that maybe this is the turning point, the moment where the Ravens have to face what no successful franchise ever wants to admit, that every era has an expiration date. Lamar Jackson, the face of the team, is still one of the most dynamic quarterbacks in the league, but the Ravens haven't done enough to build a sustainable contender around him. 3 separate times they've had legitimate Super Bowl opportunities with him under center. 2019, 2023, and this year, and yet they don't even have a single appearance to show for it. That's a staggering reality for a franchise that has prided itself on winning. The frustration isn't just in the losses. It's in the way they're losing. It's in the lifeless performances, the missed tackles, the sloppy execution, and the lack of urgency. It's in the way the body language tells you everything you need to know before the scoreboard does. You watch these games, and it's like the Ravens are waiting for something good to happen instead of making it happen. That's not the Ravens we've come to know over the years. And while the injuries have been brutal, and there's no denying that, they can't be used as the only excuse. Every team deals with injuries, but the good ones find a way to compete. You look around the league, you see teams like San Francisco or Detroit overcoming their own adversity because their culture doesn't allow them to fold. Baltimore, on the other hand, seems to crumble when things go wrong. That's not about talent. That's about mentality. The defense, once the heartbeat of this city, has completely lost its rhythm. The missed tackles have become almost symbolic of this team's deeper issues. This used to be a defense that prided itself on violence, on intensity, on making you feel every yard you tried to gain. Now opposing teams are smiling, celebrating, talking trash on the Ravens field. When the Texans came in and pushed them around, you could tell they knew it. They knew they had taken something from Baltimore that used to be sacred, respect. And for Zach Orr, the spotlight is as hot as it's ever been. He's young, he's talented, and everyone around the organization believes he's got potential. But potential doesn't win you games in the NFL. The scheme feels predictable, the adjustments come too late, and the players look confused. Maybe the injuries have made his job impossible, but the results don't care about context. The Ravens have allowed average offenses to look like juggernauts, and that's on the coaching. There's a reason Chuck Pagano's name keeps popping up. He's in the building, waiting, and if the slide continues, the team might not have a choice but to make a change just to shake things up. Offensively, it's been a different story. Todd Monken isn't the problem. In fact, at times the offense has looked organized, creative, and effective. The problem is consistency and effort. That first drive against Houston looked promising, but after that, the life was sucked right out of them. It's not that the Ravens don't have the talent, they do. It's that the effort fades so quickly, as if the team collectively loses belief the moment adversity hits. That's something coaching can't entirely fix. That's something that has to come from within the locker room. And that brings us to John Harbaugh. It's impossible to talk about this team's future without mentioning his. He's been the face of this franchise's culture for over a decade. 2 Super Bowl titles, endless playoff appearances, and a reputation as one of the most stable organizations in football, all of it built under his leadership. But even the most successful coaches eventually hit a wall. When you start hearing phrases like lack of effort and players not responding, it usually means something deeper has broken. If this season keeps spiraling, it's fair to ask whether Harbaugh's voice still carries the same weight it once did. You can tell he's feeling the pressure. He looks it, he sounds it, and the fan base can sense it too. And the truth is, even if you believe in him, and many still do, sometimes a franchise just needs a reset. The Ravens wouldn't be the first great team to reach that point. It's not all doom and gloom. There's still Lamar. There's still Zay Flowers, Hamilton, Linderbaum, and a handful of young players who can be part of the next version of this team. The bones of something good are still there. But the front office is going to have to make some hard choices to preserve it. Mark Andrews might be on the move. Veterans who've been cornerstones for years could be wearing different uniforms soon. That's the cost of trying to rebuild while you still have a superstar quarterback in his prime. You can't just keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. There's also the schedule. Believe it or not, it gets softer after the bye week. The Ravens could realistically turn this around if they find any kind of rhythm. But right now, it's hard to picture that happening with how flat the team looks. Even if some of those injured players return, the issues go beyond health. This is about energy, belief, and accountability. And that accountability has to start with the players. Rashad Bateman stopping on routes, defenders missing tackles, veterans walking around like it's week 17 when it's only week 5. That's not acceptable. The Ravens have always been a prideful franchise, but pride doesn't show up on film. The tape doesn't lie, and the tape right now shows a team that looks lost. The crazy part? It wasn't supposed to be this way. This roster, on paper, was one of the deepest, most complete groups Baltimore had fielded in years. But paper doesn't win championships. Attitude does. Consistency does. Belief does. Right now, the Ravens have none of those things. The hope is that something, anything, can jolt them back to life before it's too late. Because if this team heads into the bye at Uma Vitória e Cinco Derrotas, the noise is going to be deafening, and that's when hard decisions will start being made. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support keeps us bringing you the latest news on the Baltimore Ravens. And hey, drop your take in the comments below. We want to hear from the flock. In what could be one of the most shocking moves of the NFL offseason, whispers are swirling around that veteran quarterback Matthew Stafford is on the verge of leaving the Los Angeles Rams to join the Baltimore Ravens. While nothing has been officially confirmed, sources close to team insiders suggest that negotiations are heating up and a deal could be announced sooner rather than later. The move, if it materializes, would send shockwaves through the league, reshaping the dynamics of the AFC and NFC alike. Stafford, known for his cannon arm and ability to lead late-game comebacks, has had a roller coaster tenure with the Rams. While he delivered a Super Bowl victory, questions about consistency and fit within the Rams' evolving roster have lingered. Rumors indicate that Stafford may be seeking a fresh start, and Baltimore, eager to add a high-caliber quarterback to complement their talented roster, could be the perfect landing spot. Fans and pundits alike are buzzing with speculation. Some insiders suggest that Stafford's arrival could immediately elevate the Ravens' passing game, historically one of their weaker areas. Baltimore's offense, traditionally run-heavy, might see a dramatic shift toward a more aggressive aerial attack. Teammates and coaches are reportedly excited about the prospect, though some caution that adjustments would be necessary to fully integrate Stafford's style into the team's existing system. Social media is ablaze, with fans dissecting every angle, from the potential salary cap implications to how this could impact the Ravens' playoff chances. Meanwhile, analysts are debating whether this rumored swap could signal a bigger trend of quarterback movement across the league this year. While it's unclear what the Rams' next move would be if Stafford departs, some speculate that a young signal caller or an unexpected trade could follow. For now, the NFL world waits with bated breath. Could Matthew Stafford really trade the sunny skies of Los Angeles for the storied, playoff-driven streets of Baltimore? If the rumors prove true, the ripple effects will be felt for seasons to come, and the chatter in locker rooms, sports shows, and fan forums is only getting louder. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay in the loop with exclusive news on our Baltimore Ravens, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what the flock thinks. Drop your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next one.